morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining us for a video. I'm Mark Rohrer from Reno's Music GuitarHotline.com, and I'm sitting here with a special guest, Chris Dobbs, almost Dr. Chris Dobbs. We've been hanging out here in the shop for almost as long as the shop's been around. Chris has memories of the first Reno's at 79th and Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that location went from a little sliver to a wider one to an even wider one? What do you remember the first one that you remember
The
going
first
in?
time my mom was actually at St. Vincent's at the hospital, and I would like duck out of visiting my mom and go to the guitar shop to go oh, everything's fine, everything's cool, we'll play some guitar. And so yeah, I remember that first shop you guys had. It was like Gibson was the big thing on there, so Les Paul double cut standards, Les Paul Studios. It was super cool. I love that shop. And then once the Northwest Side one by Super Target opened up, I would frequent there from the office when I worked at Yamaha Steinberg. And then when this shop opened up, it was like, all right, I guess I'll go to that side of the town.
That's right.
Love it.
Follow us. Yeah, that's funny. I actually had your name in my phone as Chris Yamaha, because for a while that's how I connected the dots. I'm really good with face recognition. I'm very involved in that, and not so much in the memorization of names.
Yeah, I worked on the software side of Yamaha Steinberg for years, but that meant also that I had many a Yamaha acoustic and love them. They are great guitars.
Yep, they're definitely on the recommendation list. We wanted to sit down and spread the joy of Martin Custom Shop and the process of ordering one. It's relatively straightforward and easy. It's when you hear the words custom and shop together, sometimes it evokes this skyrocket price worry, and this worry of what and how, and it's pretty cool. It's not hard. It can be anything from a couple emails to a couple hundred emails. I've had clients of all sorts, and I'm here for it to help. So we're gonna get in and talk about that. Chris brought a toy of his that we built, and we'll get into that. And I've got store inventory here. These have cherry back and sides, and which is a cool tone wood that's not often used on Martin guitars, with the standard mahogany and rosewood, and a couple other cool options, and we'll get into those.
Yeah, and we got a 12 fret on the way for me.
12 fret
Dread.
Yeah, the most recent
It's the most recent one.
custom order. Do you want to talk about that now?
Sure. Well, I mean, first, like when I started here as a customer, I would come in and play guitars, and Mark and I would chat about different things. And I'm a specs nerd, and I'm a idiot about certain aspects of things. And I would go, oh, I really like this, but I wish that they had done that. Or, we would, Mark would get in a custom, and I would see like a Style 30 multicolor rope, which I'd never seen before until that custom Guatemalan. And I was just in love with it. I was like, oh man, I wish they would do Style 30 on more guitars. And I remember you being the one to go like, we could order it custom as a one-off, and it really wouldn't add that much to the cost. I mean, it'd add something, but it wouldn't break the bank. And so that was the first time I looked back at our old emails, and I had from 10 years ago, the first custom that I planned was off of this OME Cherry, which was a sustainable model that I dug, but I wanted it to have herringbone trim was the original plan, and then I like the block inlay. The headstock block inlay for me was just that's the D45. Oh my goodness, here we go. So you got me that quote, and of course I didn't buy that guitar because it was like, well, this is just sort of a dream scenario. And then cut to 6 years later, and across time we would keep trying different things. I would think about, what about a double O but with a deep body? What about this or that? And I would just shoot you an email or we'd talk in the shop, and then I'd say like, lock this in, and you'd get me a quote back, which maybe we'll talk about it as how to read one of these quote sheets, because I think it's really helpful. You'll see a lot of these, especially now, used for the last 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
The uptick has been huge in people having custom guitars, and you just resell them like you do any other guitar, because like, I moved on to liking something else. But yeah, for this guitar, it took us 6 or 7 years before I finally locked in that, like, oh, this is the model I want to do. And for me, a lot of it was that the thing I would tell anybody is start with a model that's as close to what you want in the first place, because every one of the little changes that you make adds a little something to the cost, even if it doesn't seem to add anything to the cost. Like whether or not to have it be white binding or black binding. Well, white binding and black binding cost the same, but for the factory to do the work, they've got to make that change on the line, and so it adds to your cost by $100, $150 generally if it costs the exact same. So I really wanted cherry as the back and sides would, because I had already bought my CEO7 from you, and I had my HD.
So you got Adirondack and mahogany on the CO7.
Addy mahogany, and then I have an HD MMV, which is basically a D16, but with herringbone top, not scalloped bracing. Which usually, if you see herringbone, that means scalloped, but not on that guitar. And so I wanted to go like, all right, I want a different kind of guitar, back and sides wood, and I wanted something that I could just show up and play open mic nights or whatever. And so this already had the Fishman electronics in it. And that was another feature where I was just like, oh, cool, that's already checked off the box. I don't have to tack on another $400 or $500 kicking this in. And so we just kept working. But the one thing that I really didn't like about it from a feel standpoint of this model was I was like, man, I don't like satin back and sides for me. Like, they're great once they work in, but for me, I was like, I really want it to be gloss. And so we did that. And then the sticking point on this guitar, which was super fun and interesting, is I love the mod V-neck, the shape of it. But because this was a simple dovetail neck joint, they couldn't do the mod V-neck on a long scale guitar. So they said, we'll do it, but it has to be a triple O. So this guitar went from being a long scale to a short scale, which is going from 25.4 to 24.9 inches. And that's why you'll see it has the bigger pick guard, whereas that one has the smaller OM pick guard. And I like it because, again, it just makes the guitar slinky and wonderful feeling. And so, yeah, I loved these inlays already. I wanted to change the headstock. The only thing I wish is that I'd bound the headstock.
Yep.
It's my only one. But, maybe someday it goes back to the factory and I have them bind the headstock.
Okay. I wonder what that would look like.
I did just get it fixed from the factory.
Okay.
That was pretty painless, actually, this summer. So when I got it, we were at the height of COVID, so it took an extra 5-6 months that year to get it. But I think it was well worth the wait. But when I got it, the neck was a little bit underset. And my luthier said, it's close. It's good enough that like it'll work. Maybe you should let it set in a little bit. Let's see and make sure. But when I found that it was underset, I took it with me on a trip. We were family tripping out to Pennsylvania, so I took the guitar with me, went to the factory, and dropped in and went, I know you normally can't do a walk-in on this, but is there any way somebody could take a quick look and see if this is going to be warranty covered? And they looked and said, yeah. And so then it was gone for 2 months, came back. It's better than ever. I'm thrilled. So yeah, the other big change on this one was Italian Alpine top, the Style 30 rope inlay. And then I wanted a Style 45 zigzag to keep that kind of red and green multicolor theme going. And those are all the changes. And so it ended up costing, at the time, I suppose about $1,000 more than the standard model was costing at that time.
Right.
But that's a lot of feature changes. And
Yeah.
for me, the Italian Alpine and the gloss finish and the headstock and the neck the way I want it to, again, I was super thrilled. It was like, that's exactly what I want.
That's a great custom. Touching on a couple points Chris talked about, The we've been dealing with the custom shop about that long, about 10 years, and there's been things that they said they can and can't do. This slowly changes as they grow. Like the simple dovetail customs, this isn't something that I can order today. It's got to be a dovetail starting base model. So things are a little different than that time period where there was some customs that were much more accessible as far as your wallet compared to now. The wait time, we're almost back to pre-pandemic times, 6 to 9 months. I've been seeing these guitars roll in, as opposed to during the pandemic was 12 to 18 months for some. The little specs like the Italian top and the European spruce, these are all accessible. The big jumps in the Martin line are your premium rosewoods. You can get premium grade versions of the spruces as well. So that goes from a couple $100 to 2 times that if you get the premium versions. And then hide glue. These are the things that are going to make it go way up. As far as the tone woods and the specs, bling makes it go up fast as well. You start going into style 40, 41, 42, 45. The cost goes up very fast there. So you can get the things that matter the most when we talk about an acoustic guitar, what makes you happy, where we want to be attracted to the instrument, so we pick it up. But what matters most is the sound. So what makes the sound is the soundboard and how it's braced. So you can pretty much get to your destination without spending tons of dough. The more and more little things you do, it goes up a little bit at a time. And if you have the clarity and the time, you can get your dream guitar in about a year. And you can lean on the Martin warranty if you're the original owner. They are good about warranting to the neck sets and all the other things. We've had some issues in the recent past, like binding, the loose binding thing. Anyone that's has an internet connection and likes Martin guitars probably knows about it. But the binding repair or the loose binding issue has been resolved. We don't really have to worry about that these days. I think that's all that popped in my head when you were.
Yeah. Maybe we outline so on the current one I just bought and now we're waiting for, or I put my down payment and now I'll pay the rest of it when it gets here. Thank goodness. But so I started with. This was another dream of about 6 or 8 years ago. There was a 12 fret dreadnought from the Authentic series, the Authentic 1931. And I played that in the old shop. And I just went, that's probably the best acoustic guitar I've ever played in my life. And so at the time it was like, I just, that's more bread than I'm capable of. And cool guitar. It was hide glue, it was all the different things. But I cut to a couple years later now, and it's like, okay, I've played enough 12 fret dreadnoughts to know now that that's a sound I want. But they don't make 12 fret dreadnought as a standard general model. I think they should. But what you and I have done is we've had, every time a 12 fret dread has come through here in the last couple years, I've probably played 20 or 40% of them here and there. And this last time there was a mahogany one that came through and I went, oh, that's close. That's right where I want to be. But I think the rosewood thing for the piano sound and for the extra body that it adds. And when I think of that 12 fret dread, it's a solo acoustic instrument for me a lot of times. And so we just started going back and forth about okay, start from a standard model. So either a D35, a D28, an HD28, or a D18. And each of them has their advantages for me on different aspects, but we ended up starting with a D28. And I normally wouldn't go a D28 because I really like scallop bracing. And I think it's a key item on this type of guitar for me. I think non-scallop bracing is awesome for a strummer. I think it's really great for if you're a singer-songwriter strummer. Beautiful. If you're doing some other things and you really want to have that maximum dynamic range, I think scallop the braces. But the thing that you really hit me to is my uncle ended up buying a custom from you. and it is the Golden Era bracing version of it. And
shout out Uncle John.
Uncle John, hey. And so every time that I've been in here and we've played one, and I go, man, this one really speaks to me. You go, Golden Era bracing.
Mm.
So we took a D28 because I didn't necessarily feel like, oh, I really need another herringbone top. I love a herringbone inlay, but I don't mind if this one's a little bit of a sleeper. And so to save some money there, it was like, well, I don't need to change the inlay, but we'll just change the braces. I also kind of liked the idea of the checkerboard back on the back of the D28 because it's not an inlay I have on the back of a guitar.
Right.
So it's like, that's the back strip. Cool, keep that. And then we did large sound hole. Because as a Tony Rice sort of homage, but like to me, a 12 fret dreadnought's kind of a Norman Blake thing. And who was Norman Blake so great with? Tony Rice. Make a little meld of a guitar.
Nice.
And then as much as I'm a huge, I've been talking about it, like a block inlay headstock fan, on that D31, what really struck me is when they first did dreadnoughts, there was still no headstock stamp. And so I wanted sort of my version of that authentic 1931. So we went stamp, no sticker on the front. It's got the stamp on the back like they did in 31.
The hot stamp.
I didn't do hide glue for a multitude of reasons. It's expensive. My wife's vegetarian, and I thought it would go over very poorly if I asked to spend an extra $1,000 to use animal glue. I thought like let's not have that talk at home. That'll be.
And does it make a difference? Yes.
Absolutely. It does. But I also, for me, living in Indiana in a humid climate.
I guess I should say, does hide glue improve the sound? Yes.
I would say so. I think it's a little more lively. I think it's a little bit more. There is a little extra something there. But
not necessary, is expensive.
And I baby my guitars pretty decently, but there's a little part of me that goes, man, you got a hot summer day and you leave that in the car, you're in a lot of trouble in the hide glue scenario, possibly. and it's also a little harder
Easy to put back together.
Yeah. It's a little harder to work on for some things. I just, mainly it was the wife vegetarian thing. The wife vegetarian thing was where I went like, I don't need to spend that money.
And, it's 20% more expensive depending on your build. So it's significant.
It is. I would rather spend that money on the top. So the big thing was I have an Adirondack top, I have a Sitka top, I have a Italian top, and I have an Engelmann top on one of my Yamahas. And so I was like, all right, I'm down to mahogany, Engelmann, Koa, Swiss in my Martin categories of things I'd like to, hit the old senior home with. And I was like, all right, this feels like the time to go high altitude Swiss.
All right.
Because the other thing, in my opinion, Addy is amazing. It's definitely, if you're going to have one thing, I go Adirondack, please, all day. I do think if you're a little bit wired like I am, where you go like, I'm a little bit of a alternate guy, beta, like I'd rather wear Adidas than Nike. Give me Pepsi, not Coke. And I think that those European spruces have a little bit more of a top end sheen sometimes. They have a little bit more of that. In my experience, when you play a Martin that really has that extra treble presence, where it starts to head toward Taylor Sugarland, but you're not getting an overdose of it.
Nice.
That is what I wanted out of this guitar, and that's what I wanted out of the 12 fret. So that's why we went with that feature set. But you and I had at least 8 emails back and forth about this guitar, where it was like I thought about it in sunburst with herringbone trim. I thought about it in a lot of different ways. I thought about it as a D35, so it would have the bound neck. But the biggest thing for me was just the idea that you can start with a D35 and change the whole shape.
Yeah.
It's not the whole, but like you can make anything a 12 fret. So if you love the M36, the Quad O, they do make that a 12 fret. I don't think they make the Jumbo a 12 fret. I think that's the only one I can think of that's not. I've never seen that as a 12 fret body.
I'm not sure. You get the Quad O 12, so it's just a deep body version of that. I don't know.
I think that it's so there's lots of options. It's the thing that I would encourage you to do also is like if you can dream it, they can do it, but you also don't have to reinvent the wheel. So for me on the 12 fret, I just wanted the Foden inlays, which are the 5 and 7 really simple. They come off of the Foden guitars from the 1920s. If you go look at like your Martin history books, a lot of it's in there, and it is still kind of available if you just ask. And the other thing that I would tell anybody who is doing what I'm doing of like, oh, you start, number one is find a great dealer to work with. Play around on the website, but know that the website doesn't have everything. Because that's the interest. So the website has
talking about the Martin configurator. Yeah, it's elementary. It gets you started.
It's a great place when you're sitting at 11 o'clock at night and you go, I don't want to send Mark another email right now. Let's just sit here and play for a minute and go, okay, well, if I changed this, what if I did a wedge? When we talked about this 12 fret, I thought about like, oh, is this the time when I want to go 3-piece back and do a Koa wedge or a mahogany wedge? And I ended up just going with rosewood because you were going to the factory.
Okay. So, yeah, we'll get in there.
Got it.
So as you're building your idea, it's no problem at all to send me an email and say, what's the price? I've done it long enough to where I will spitball and say, it'll probably be this. And it's no problem at all for me to get an actual quote. It's a 7-page quote. Every spec is listed. My inside guy is wonderful. He usually gets it back to me the next day, the next business day. And we want to change one little thing. We want to do a big change. It's totally fine. We want it to be perfect. We want the idea to be sealed, with no doubt. And like Chris said, you can look at any Martin guitar that's ever been built, and they can do that again. If you've got some wild concept or idea, they might be able to do it, and we'll find out if they can or they can't. There's 3 ways. Once you're ready, there's 3 options of finalizing the thing and your experience post order. I simply send the email to Martin, signed quote, build this for us, please. Just like every other guitar that shows up that's from the catalog. I need a D28, I need a D18, please send me one. The second way is what we did, what Chris and I have done. I'm there at the factory twice a year. Chris says, I'm after this example of this sort of look. You let me know beforehand, I'm after this look, this aesthetic of my tone woods, we're talking. Because I'm in there going through a pile of wood. It's the most fun I get there in Nazareth. I'm at the factory. The smells, the sounds, the friends. It's a wonderful place. I encourage everyone to get there as well. If you're ever on...
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
What a tour for anybody.
So fun. It'll bolster your life and your affinity for the brand. It's a nice tour, even if you're not about guitars. If you just like sightseeing, it's a big old company, and they got it going on.
I took my 8-year-old with me this year. And we made a day of it, just the 2 of us, and when we were out in Pennsylvania, and core memory for both of us now of going through the factory, and he loved it. I loved it. It's always great. It's the best guitar tour I've been on for sure.
And you've been on a couple.
I've been on a couple. I've seen a few.
So while I'm there, I have in mind you're after this look of your wood, and then I'm taking pictures. I'm taking a video, and I'm sending the comms to you so you could weigh in. I think I found 4 sets of spruce and rosewood.
7 rosewood back and sides. So we had 7 back and sides of rosewood that I got from Mark. Hey, I'm here. Got to make a call today or tomorrow. Like I'm here overnight, but let's here are your 7 choices. Anything speaking to you, and here's your 4 tops. And so I looked at those, and we can even flash up maybe we'll see if the post pro.
Yeah,
I have the picture still. If you don't.
Yep, I'll try to overlay it here in the video. Those pictures I sent, and it's pretty rad. You can put some you can put some liquid stuff to make the rosewood pop. What's that? Naphtha. You can put some naphtha, so you can kind of see what it looks like raw rosewood looks pretty bland compared to when it has finish and it's had the filler applied to it.
So I went with the wildest wild grain that I had.
Wildest.
You'll if you see the 7 pictures, you'll see that like, oh, you went high drama on this one. And I showed it to a couple of friends, and then actually to my 8-year-old in the car after I'd already picked. Because to me also these are family heirlooms. These are things that are going to get passed down, and this guitar is going to the daughter, and the 12 fret will go to the son, because he looked at all 7 of them and he blind went, I think you should pick that one. And I went, good pick, buddy, because we already picked it.
Oh, really?
It's the same one. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, same one. And then on the spruce top, on the the high altitude Swiss, I would have loved bear claw, but there wasn't any bear claw to be had that day in great amount, and so I ended up just picking a grain that I liked the look of. And it was nice for me knowing that like, you're there, you can do a little sound tap. Everybody was sounding good, and you were able to kind of tell me like, hey, nobody, there are no dogs feeling today. Not that there really are ever, but I feel like Martins have a soul, and Martins, they vary in that regard that are in great ways. And so to me, it's just like, all right, we picked out and we made a new one. And the other thing I love about this is this style of building goes all the way back to C.F. Martin Sr. This is how guitars were ordered way back when, as they would, a customer would say, I want this general model, but I might want a tweak. And as a family business for almost 200 years now, the fact that you can still go, you have the standard model, I'd like a tweak. I'd like a little change for me. And the other thing that we added on the inside is this time I did a paper sleeve.
Yep.
And it's going to say Dr. Chris Dobbs. I'm not a doctor yet, but I'm finishing up my doctorate in music tech. And I decided like, all right, this is the extra motivation, kick in the pants to defend the dissertation. And also it's the kind of thing that like, I look forward and think, for somebody 100 years from now, it's a Martin. It'll be fine. If you take general care of it, somebody's going to have some version where they look inside and go, made for Dr. Chris Dobbs. And that's a wild and cool part of the history that I think is so fun about when we see these guitars, when we see the vintage ones, which I have a love and appreciation for. They've all got stories. They've all been places. They've all done things. And
you hear it all the time. The stories, when they get played, then they got stories to tell, and they sound better for it. See, I don't know. They might just peel that sticker out. I'm gonna put Welby right on the fingerboard.
Yeah. just right.
You got to chop the neck off of mine.
Just change it up.
Oh man.
Yeah, so it's simple. Like, it's beautiful. When you were going to be at the factory, that was the other thing that sent me going like, okay, this is my graduation completion thing and the family heirloom item. And again, it's a place where I go like, look, it's going to cost, I think, $1,200, $1,500, somewhere in there, more than a D28. Standard might have cost me. But it's got every little feature that I want, and it's costing me a lot less than buying one of those D31 Authentics used.
Or even the D28 1931 Authentic.
The 31 Authentic would have cost me a lot more than this. Yeah. And I didn't need hide glue, and I didn't need some of the aspects. And there are some things that, the other thing I like that this is custom built. That, like, I love this experience. I have a lot of fun with it. You're a great person to work with.
Thank you.
We have a lot of fun just chatting about ideas and trying different things and, oh, what would that be like? And so if you're wired like that, I also think that it's a great, like, some people have asked me like, oh man, did it make you nervous? Like, what if it's not good when you get it? And I think that that's a valid, totally valid reason why some people would go like, nah, for me, I'd rather just give me 8 of the same standard model that I love. I'll play 8 of them and I'll pick the winner out of that. And we've all been there where it's like, there is often a for you winner with your playing style and everything else. For me, being the specs nerd that I am, and the specs nerd that you are, to support me on it too. So don't feel like you gotta be, but if you can kind of outline the things you want out of a guitar, you can kind of design it awfully close. And my experience is like, the models of guitar that I think are the most reliable from Martin of speaking to me. The Claptons, the CEO 7s, and then probably, you know, HD28, HD28Vs. Those are the three models that are just, anytime I play one, I go, oh, that one's really good. Oh, this is really good. And that's been my experience, though, with ordering out of the custom shop is, well, I just pick the features that speak to me.
Yeah.
And then I get a guitar. And I'll say about this, we'll do some sound demos of both guitars, but like, this guitar was exactly what I wanted it to be sonically. I was willing to make the concessions of like, okay, it's not going to be a dreadnought, so it's not going to be a huge picking bluegrass monster for me. But that's okay. I'm fine with that choice. What I really wanted was a sugary, beautiful treble, fingerstyle forward Martin. And cherry back and sides to me is you get some of the snap of maple, a little bit of the mid-range of mahogany, and your decay starts to head toward rosewood. And I go, that's a great back and sides wood, you guys. It really is.
Really selling that cherry.
If you're sleeping on cherry, I would encourage you to sleep next to a cherry because you're gonna wake up happy. It is a great tone wood for the back and sides, especially when, I think particularly when you have covered, like, okay, I have my rosewood and I have my mahogany and I'm looking for something a little different. I think cherry is totally undervalued. And again, it's one of those ones that you may not go on the configurator and go, oh, I don't see cherry there. It's an option, and it's not terribly more expensive. I don't think it's as expensive as Koa.
Yeah, cherry's it's super accessible.
Walnut range, right? Like, you know,
it's not a premium rosewood like I was mentioning earlier. And like Chris was saying, it is a dice roll when you order something without being able to hear it first. Well, there's a couple reasons why the Martin Company is successful doing it. Is they are consistent. So if you are in line with what you think it's gonna sound like, Martin is going to deliver something close to that. So there's a range, and the thing about Martins is that everyone wants a used Martin. If it isn't the thing or something does happen, someone will buy it. You can get pretty good. It's not going to, you drive a car off the lot, it's, half or whatever. It's not that bad. And to that same point, they're not investments. They kind of follow the ebb and flow of the market. They don't really behave differently. So if you care for your Martin guitar, it will hold its value. And if you ever do need to trade it or sell it, you will be able to.
Oh yeah, I think even on the customs, I see a lot of used market for the customs. So I haven't worried at all about like, hey, look, if one of the kids needs experimental surgery and we're selling guitars, then I haven't really worried about too much of a losing your shirt situation because they are cool, unique, one-off items that people are drawn into. And yeah, I mean, certainly across the last 10 years, we have seen, I don't expect to ever be able to buy a used D18 for $1,500 again. It's just probably not going to happen.
Old days.
The good old 15-year. And it's great. Like it's also an item where I go like, these things last a very wonderful long time. And I will say, having had this first experience with the warranty shop, I really could not have had a better experience. There was total support. I had a wonderful tech who came out and talked to us as a family. It was like going to the doctor for your, for the vet or for your kid. It was just like, hey, listen, you know what? You're right. Yep, we're a little underset. It's no problem. You're under 5 years. Your warranty's easily covered it. We're totally good. Sorry this has happened, but we'll get it straightened out for you. And that's the other thing on buying a sight unseen Martin custom shop that I don't pump the brakes about is I go like, as long as I've picked the specs for it, I'm not worried. If there was a factory problem, they're definitely going to cover it. And those are so rare. That's the other thing. You probably haven't had another underset guitar here.
There's outliers.
I mean, it happens, but
yeah.
But even when it does happen, it's like, look, it happens. and they're a big and amazing company that wants to fix these things. So that's another thing that gives me a lot of confidence in buying a used or buying both a used Martin and the reason why I bought new is that element of like, well, I plan to play this thing for another 50 years. And as the original owner, I have a lifetime warranty. Now, neck resets across 25 years, that's a different story. But anything other major, like you are the original owner, you have that extra warranty in your pocket. I've found value in that in my own peace of mind.
Yeah.
At the same time, I've looked at a couple used ones that you've had and thought, oh, that's an even better price. Look at that. That's a good situation right there.
Yep. Buying used always saves you a little dough. No warranty with any used Martins. And speaking of Martin warranty, we have our new Martin authorized luthier, Grandin Westland, in our neighborhood. I'm excited to have him. And good job, Martin, for recruiting him. R.I.P. Sam Ash.
Deuces.
Yeah, one less guitar store that I have to hear being complained about. Sorry to see you fall. They were family owned.
They were in New York, family owned. It's long time. I mean, it's a challenge out there.
Reno's Music Guitar Hotline is Indiana's largest independent Martin dealer and Martin custom shop dealer outside of Sweetwater, which is one of, if you watching this video, you know who Sweetwater is. They're humongous. And still under the family-owned umbrella. They're just north of us.
They're not. They got bought by venture capital. Chuck Zurich sold the like 2 years ago. They finalized. So yeah, they're no longer. They're a big.
I'm still being told that they're independent.
Family? Oh, okay. I buy that.
Whatever that means.
Yeah. They're great. Listen, Sweetwater's great, and that is a great place. But I would tell you, like, if you're packing up the car as a person that, like, again, been to Sweetwater many times as a customer and as a person working in the industry, fantastic place to play a ton of Martin guitars. Don't miss Fishers, Indiana. This is, you've really done a big thing here, dude. Like, we haven't really talked about this, but like, there was a shop here in town called Meridian Music that for, I think, on our late 90s, early 2000s era, was the top-end acoustic people in town. And when they went to just doing pianos, there was a lot of times in my life as an acoustic guitar fan that I was a little bit, like, heartbroken, and I still shake my fist at that store for not having acoustic guitars. And then right around that time, though, you started getting into this whole thing, and you saw this group of people that love acoustic music and love acoustic guitars, and it wasn't a situation of like, haha, twist the mustache, we can go do this thing. But I started seeing this shop just grow and grow and grow, and now to have, you know, the entry level, affordable, amazing Eastman stuff,
right?
That I think is killer. Like, to have the Martin, like, this could be anybody's workhorse, life, family guitar. And then you have the bourgeois. I always say bourgeois. I think it's with an R.
Yeah, I began to include the R.
Yeah, but I mean, those are in that, like, mythical unicorn area. And so to me, like, if you're in 200 miles of here, I've been to Chicago Music Exchange. It's a wonderful place to play some custom Martins and some standard models and some interesting stuff. And but I would tell anybody who's in driving distance of this place. Also, if you're not in driving distance of this place, shoot an email or make a comment.
Yep.
Mark or Caleb or me or somebody will make a sound for you, I bet.
Yep, we're here 5 days a week, open to the public. You just pull up, walk on in, Tuesday through Saturday, and you can see pictures of all the stuff on the website already, so you know what you want to play when you turn up. You don't have to be buying to come on in. We can talk, we can educate, we can chill, and you know, learn each other. You know, communicate and build a relationship, and we'll go from there.
I'd been coming to Reno's for 16, 17 years before I bought my CEO7, my first guitar here.
Really?
I think it's that long. Yeah.
Well, you didn't have much money when you.
No, I didn't. I couldn't afford it. But you were always. What I'm saying there is, I was always welcomed. I was always super kind. Like, I bought things here and there.
Yeah, sure.
Try and buy some strings from people when you come in that often. But I would come in. I'd come in for a long time, and then my CEO7. Let's tell that story. That was a good one. The CEO7 model had just come out, and I'd been looking for a small-bodied Martin for about a year.
Were they $23.99 when they first came out?
They were super cheap. Yeah, they were $2,300, I think, or $2,400, and with an Adirondack top, with all these features that are way custom shopped. Mod V-neck, which I loved, and you got the first one in, and I played it, and you were like, sorry, this one is already spoken for. And I was like, I get it, but I came in and played it, and I was just like, let me know when the second one comes. And so you called me, and it was it was the only time you've ever done it, and I respect it so much because it was only because you knew how much I wanted that guitar. You went, hey man, second one just showed up. This is a banger. I'll keep it in the back for you. Take your time whenever you get here this week or whenever, you know, let me know. And so I was the second person to open up that case after you, and you know, traded in a good chunk of things in my life, and adore that guitar.
Awesome.
And it's again, you've never been a pressure sale. You've never been you've all these great things that I don't know if people know about you, but I'm happy to tell it to the internet. Like, I really like working with you on this stuff and having a lot of fun doing it. But find yourself a good Martin dealer, folks. It's a good life item. I kind of go like, you know, have a good general practitioner doctor, have a good dentist, have a good Martin dealer. These are
nice. I
don't put them even in that order.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate that.
Happy to.
And there's a lot of great Martin dealers out there. We're in a suburb of Indianapolis. I have friends and clients that come regularly to see the wares, and I do get that feedback often. I never really ask for a sale. I don't mind if you don't buy. I want you to be happy, right? This is our scope. We care about the person and not what's in their guitarsenal or their bank account. I'm a super empathetic guy, so if you're not happy, I'm not happy. We figured it out, and that, you know, Martin, they're consistent, so we're just mostly all happy and having a good time. Every once in a while, we got to figure something out, and it gets tough, but it's pretty cool experience, and I'm happy to help however I can. So please reach out with any questions or concerns, or if you have an idea and want to see what it will cost.
You want to talk about sheets for a quick second? I mean, we'll edit
yeah.
it. Yeah. All right, so reading a sheet. I've got the sheet here that maybe we can put up there.
What's the configurator number? And then I'll pull it up.
C24012991.
Cool.
This is my 12 fret dreadnought that's on the way.
And we picked out the tone woods for this in March. These are the timing of my trips, fall and spring. That's when I can send pictures.
And the one tweak that we found that we missed on this was the large sound hole, and we found it like a day later, and we were able to get that changed. Which you got to be quick on the draw there, but you know, lock it all in. But basically, that first page gives you an outline of what you're looking at, appointment level, standard, and then adhesive, modern adhesive. That's where you'd see hide glue. Your top, your bracing, your back and sides. Everything's listed out here. I do miss the old days where they used to bold out what was different from the standard model.
Yeah, we went from it was 2 pages basically, which told you what your guitar was. Now we have 7 pages, and you will become a guitar nerd, and if you know what everything in this.
It's deep. Page 2. So 12 frets clear of body. That means it's 12 fret instead of you might see a D14 there, or 14 frets clear of the body when you're on a standard or a regular size. Also, if you ever see D28S or D35S, some people say it's because of the slotted headstock. Some people say because it's part of the standard size was the old size. I don't think Martin's ever weighed in that I know of. Why the S?
I think it means special.
Ooh, I like that too.
And so I think when we're talking 100 years ago, that the S was almost like custom to where something happened. So the S, you had your 14 fret D28, so your D28S was a 12 fret slotted peg head.
Was the special.
I think that's originally what the S was.
I like that. So then you get through the body section, you get to the top. I've got certified European Swiss, high altitude Swiss. You can see the finish grade. There's grade 3-4, and that's where you said like, hey, you can I could have picked like, give me an upgraded top. And does it go? Is grade 5-6 higher? I don't remember.
Yeah. It's usually a standard at a premium, and sometimes there's numbers connected. But yeah, 3-4 and then 5-6 or 7-8 would be a premium. And for Martin, this is just an aesthetic thing. So that's the beauty of when I'm there too. I can look through a pile of standard grade wood, and there might be one little thing here where Martin's like, nope, that's not premium, it's standard. And then for us here playing in the dirt, one little thing here, fine.
Yeah,
totally fine. We want this. It's beautiful. It's standard grade price.
Take it and enjoy. So then I've got the bracing type Golden Era. Now, I know a pretty good amount about bracing. I don't really know what makes the Golden Era different than the standard.
There's 2 points. It's further refined, so a little less mass on the brace, so your top can move. And the bridge plate is tucked. It's slid under the X brace, so it's even like tighter. So that tucked bridge plate is, it's a Golden Era scallop bracing is an option. It costs a couple $100, and within those 2 things, it's not a game changer. But often, if you have an ear, good things are happening.
I like it a lot. Now, I went 5/16, which is the width of the braces. You can go 3/4. You can go 5/16. 3/4 is technically what an HD 35 or 1/4. Excuse me. Yeah, not 3/4. That'd be thick braces. Yeah, the 1/4 bracing.
Yep, on triple O's. 18s?
HD 35s.
HD 35s.
And D35s have the non-scallop.
Non-scallop.
So many versions of bracing. But, if you don't know about it, ask. And then you get to the next, page 3, top inlay. Stock D28, not HD28, just Boliftron. Back and sides then, there's our wild grain East Indian with a D28 checker. As you go down, then the neck. I like a Mod V neck. You don't have to. You should, but you don't have to. And then the head plate, wild grain East Indian to match. I love that's one of those things that I didn't have to specify. The custom shop knew, like, hey, if you got wild grain, if you're changing the rosewood back and sides, we'll auto change it on the headstock, and you let us know if you don't want that. But it's gonna look great. Page 4. I mean, it just keeps going. Fingerboard ebony, the grade, the thickness, the pocketed fret slots. I mean, it gets deep. And then finish. Standard. Don't tape the rosette or inlays.
Yep. This when they finish it, you can have the rosette taped. So sometimes the visual
a little different there.
Changes, yeah.
Yeah. And then last page, bridge and the tuning extras. And you can see handcrafted by the custom shop for Dr. Chris Dobbs.
Hey, we got that. Yes.
Listen. And a custom shop credentials book. That's
that comes stock. You don't have to pay for the book.
And then
yeah, dude, that's gonna be sick. That rosewood, 12 fret.
Oh, we'll do a video. I promise a follow up.
We should do an unboxing and.
Oh yeah, we got to do an unboxing of that. just a little more.
I love this angle of watching you play down his neck. It's like a cool shot. Man, every time you play that, I want to learn it.
I'll show it to you sometime.
Songs that make me cry.
If you're from Indiana, folks, that one's always going to get you.
Let me see that.
Play it.
Is there a mark on this? Should I be scared?
Nah, don't. Listen,
you didn't kabong it yet?
I didn't kabong it yet. Oh, you know what we forgot to mention? No pick guard on the 12th fret.
Oh yeah, no pick guard. Did you get a finish?
Just the standard. Yeah, it's
aging toner.
Aging toner, because that's the stock right now. I would have liked white, but that's all right. Yeah, no, you know what? That guitar, I've had it out for open mic nights. I've let students play it.
It's never had a boo-boo?
It doesn't have a big one yet. It'll get there.
That bound neck, dude, is tight. I really, really like that.
It's a beautiful feature.
You been flat picking?
A little bit. You have. Never get to sit out in front of my own guitar. It's beautiful. It's like,
yeah, see?
yeah.
Yeah, let me play your guitar. Come on in. No, that's what's fun here. If you do turn up here, I do want you to bring your guitar. I want to play show and tell.
It's fun.
You
it's fun to AD
you
it.
play my stuff, I play your stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so this is Italian cherry. Here, now.
Yeah.
Do that thing on the long scale Swiss cherry.
Swiss cherry with the true
maple
dovetail.
binding. Yep, dovetail. Yep.
What a piece of wood. I mean, you know what? Same style 45 back.
Aha, got it.
I can't believe this just followed you back from the factory.
Yep.
gorgeous. I pulled it out. Let's see. That's a gorgeous guitar. That's a that's really. I will say, like, the long scale thing, the Grover tuners, the open backs. Like, I gotta grab a pick, because here's the thing that I always wonder about, though. That's not the pick I want.
Other pick.
Other pick. I got two. I brought a bunch of picks. Can I pick it? Yes, you can. Can I pick it? That's what I wanted. So, you're asking. Because when a guitar plays this great a fingerstyle, the thing for me is always like, okay, now can I pick it without it caving in, without it falling apart? And that's where I always wonder, like. That's a great, like. Yeah, oh man. And you can. I usually find on a long scale I have to work a lot harder than that.
Yeah, this unit is super set up. I'm not surprised to hear that.
Yeah, because usually I'd have to work a lot. Oh no.
Nice.
That's why you gotta have that 20th fret. That's why you gotta have that 20th fret. It's right there for you.
Oh man. See,
That's a heck of a guitar.
I should be learning all this stuff you're doing, but
I like that.
that's what I've been working.
Yeah.
The boys are just talking about bringing a hip hop or a rap song next jam.
Yeah, I dig it.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. If it's alright, wanna kick it with you all night. Have a good time. That's gonna be tough.
I dig it.
I think I can do it.
You can get there.
Big
You're
boy.
there.
All night, big boy.
Yeah.
Outcast, big boy.
Start pulling all the verses out of it.
Boy, it's gonna knock him out if I hit it.
Oh yeah. Well, listen. Also, we're from the '90s days of like the old like let me do the cover of Eazy-E, but as an acoustic guitarist.
Yeah.
You know, what I was thinking about on the way over here was actually, can I pick it? Yes, I can.
Can I pick it?
And that would be. Can I pick it? Can I pick it? Yes, you can. Can I pick it?
Yes, you can.
Can I pick
Yes, you can.
it? I'm gone. It's right there. It's right there to be had.
And
These are two great guitars.
that was just like do. That's all that is?
Yeah. And then there's a little D minor. And there's. Walk on the wild side. Said, hey, sugar. Take a walk on the wild side. Yeah. Fun times, man.
Nice, dude.
You should buy that guitar. You can't buy this guitar. Right now.
Buy all the guitars.
Buy all the guitars you can, but that guitar, put a link in that one, because again, I think that's one that I look at and go, ooh.
Yeah, but it's a little sleeper because it's not the standard mahogany and rosewood, but everyone that plays it or hears it they're always tickled.
Here's my question for us next. So we got the 12 fret dread on the way. What do you think? I got my D14 HDMMV. I got my CEO7. I got this triple O kind of style.
Yeah.
I have I got the D12 fret coming. I'm thinking the next back and sides wood is either gonna be koa or walnut.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think shape wise?
Maybe a single odd 18 or something like this.
Yeah, I don't have a true little guy, little body.
Double odd slot head might be good too.
Then I also just start thinking like, what about M36? Just do the wedge as a do a koa wedge.
A
walnut single O could be really cool.
Yeah. Does it need would it be loud enough with walnut? What kind of spruce would you use?
I think I'd definitely go Engelmann.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a Martin Engelmann. Yeah.
Phone lines are open.
Listen up. Come by them, folks. Call ahead. Yeah, I like that idea. Single O. We may have seen the gestation of a new custom. 50th birthday. 7 years away. Mark's taking a call. Hello? I'll play something. Prank call?
Yeah.
Jerky boys? See that one more time? Curious. That longer scale. Let's see. punch, great mid-range, great everything. All right.
All right.
I got a few minutes. Can I play that John Mayer?
No one's played it.
No one's played it.
Except Caleb.
I thought Caleb. Okay. Then we got better save it for just Caleb then, because you want that second play only to be the Caleb play.
Well,
Yeah. No, let's not do that.
you mean right here?
Well, no, I don't have to. I can do
No,
whatever.
we should. Now that you say that,
I mean, I'd sit here and play it.
you with your fingers.
Yeah, I'll finger style it for sure. I won't. Now, folks, when you go to a guitar shop, no buttons, no zippers, no big belt buckles. You can see. No buttons, except for, I mean, I'm not going to put the guitar up here. No zippers, no belt buckles. Very respectful, very demure. Look at that case. Oh my gosh. That's a case.
Yeah, it comes with its own sleeping bag too. Shroud.
Tell you what,
All right, bro.
I'm gonna get my own picture of this too, just because I gotta, like, when else am I gonna see? I did see them in the factory.
The 45.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was a 45 that I saw at the factory. I definitely saw the standard model or the.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Show 'em the back.
Whoa, the back. Whoa, the back. And John and I don't know, you know, I listen to him on the Sirius XM radio. We have similar musical tastes. I keep saying to Erica, like, we would be best friends.
You and John Mayer.
Me and John would be best
Yeah,
friends. I did
pretty
meet him
much.
once. I did meet
no
him
way?
once. Oh, yeah. He played an in-store at a record shop I was working at in Chicago. Super nice guy. Super fantastic, nice guy. Everything you could hope for.
Love to hear it.
Let's see here. Oh, the inlays are such a nice touch on the neck, on the side dots.
Mm. The OM45 John Mayer 20th anniversary signature model.
I love the brushed.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the little touches on this thing that are just so insanely great. Let's see here. Sounds like 20 grand to me.
Mm-mm-mm.
I mean, it is. What a piece of wood in the back, and what a, I mean, just the sound, the feel, like. See if I can still remember. I haven't played it so long. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm ready for the singing, baby.
I know it. He's a. The one I've been meaning to spend all my time on is just go like, oh man, Heart of Life. That's a really good one. And yeah, this is a. There's power under the hood.
I shattered. All right, you're the second guy to play that thing.
That's enough for me. That is. Take that, please, from me. And whoever gets that, enjoy it for me, because that is a great guitar. Man, the look on it. It's those little fine details.
Yeah, I really, really like that.
That's the thing, though. Like, again, on a custom, if you looked at that Martin, if you looked at that John Mayer, and you went, you know what I love about it?
Yeah.
Is the pick guard having the perloid around it. That's a feature you could do to any Martin. Like
that's actually inlaid. That
is that inlaid in the guard? Oh yeah, the guard. Oh yeah, I remember reading that.
Yeah,
but you could really you could do a perloid on the guard. They've done that.
Yeah,
on lots of things. Like you could do
outline.
You could do black. I don't know if they'll do the silver burst on other guitars.
That finish, yeah, they probably keep it proprietary to that model. Yeah, but any other, they have like 50 bursts that they've used over time. So you want the CEO4 burst, which is like super tri-colored situation, or do you want that burst to kind of be smoother, like the 35 burst?
A lot of options.
A lot of options. Yeah.
Hey, buddy, this is super fun. We should do more of this if you want to.
Chris Dobbs, my special guest here. Thanks for joining us. If you like acoustic guitar content like this, like and subscribe, and give us a shout if you have any questions or inquiries. Or we'll see you around on the next one.
See you on the internet.
On the internet,
buddy. That's as much fun as I can have on a Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I wore my Martin shirt. Every day is Earth Day.
I almost wore my Martin hat. And then I was like, it's a little too on brand, so I wore my other Pennsylvania.
Is this like wearing the shirt to the concert?
No, Gutter. It's not.
You're supposed to do this?
You can do this. This is legal. I think it's...
And then this cherry Earth Day kind of locks in.
Yeah, and this is sustainable.
Yeah.
That was all sustainable guitar. It's a good call. You know the other show I saw where people were really wearing the band shirt? Blink. Blink 182. I'm telling you, 40% of the people were wearing a Blink shirt.
You talking about this summer in August, first part of August?
Yeah, people were wearing their Blink shirts. It was like a Deadhead concert, but for Blink fans. It was weird.
Was it like vintage Blink 182 shirts?
No, it's mostly like the new ones from
Brand
like
new.
the current
Target.
Kohl's. Yeah, the current Kohl's and Target pick. I don't know.
Kohl's and Target. That's funny.
God bless.